Hi again. Okay, so thanks for stopping by for the last part in this series that we were talking about building your production by turning your knowledge into power. And today's last few points are very powerful, I felt, and so I wanted to share them with you. The first one is, understanding number 16, okay, where your business comes from. Where does it come from, okay? If you were working with me, or if you were being coached by me, or even for that matter, Mike Ferry, Mike would tell you the same thing. Look, you need to understand where your business comes from, okay? And the reason why is because that way you can duplicate it, all right? And business comes from three separate places. Either A, okay, you're waiting for it. B, you're buying it. Or C, you're out and earning it. Okay? Now, it's really important that you understand a couple fundamentals here. The first thing you need to understand is waiting for it, you could be waiting a really, really long time. And you could run out of time, and you could run out of money, and eventually be out of the business. Waiting for it is simply comprised of doing things like open houses, doing things like mass mailers, mailing to a subdivision, a farm, that sort of thing, okay? Those sorts of things are very low rejection, less people in your face kind of thing. And that's okay, but understand that the less rejection that you have there, okay, the less impact you have with people and the less chances you have at bat. This is all about numbers, all right? It's all about quality of people that you're in front of. And if you're talking to the same people that you did in your geographical farm last month, and they didn't sell their home last month, and they're not planning on selling it this month, what do you suppose the chances are they're going to want to sell it next month when you stop by again? Not very good. The problem with a lot of programs like Brian Buffini and some of these others is they focus on you going ahead and marketing to your center of influence, okay, and waiting for things to happen, waiting for these people to go ahead and do business. The problem comes because waiting, you don't have the time. If you're a new agent, if you've not been in the business a long time, you don't have the time to wait. You don't have the money, okay? And you will run out of time, you will run out of money, and you will run out of business, and you'll be out of the business just like 80% of people are in the first 18 months. That I can't tell you enough about, okay? On the other hand, you have a lot of people who end up buying business. Buying business is doing things like radio ads, a lot of mass mailings, postcards, advertisements in homes and land or something along those lines. That's all fine and good, and a lot of people have done a lot of business that way. I'm not going to knock it. But what I can tell you is that for a newer agent or somebody who doesn't have a whole lot of money, you can't afford it. Okay? And if you can't afford the business, then you're going to have a really tough time competing with people who've been on that magazine for years. Okay? For example, there is an agent in our marketplace, all right, his name's Rob, and basically he has been advertising on some of the top magazines for years and years. And he's done a great job of getting that presence out there. Okay? Now, I don't want to distract or detract from his skills and his ability. He's done a fantastic job with that. But what I will say is that that's a very expensive way to run your business. And I would also say that, if you're a new agent or you're an agent who's maybe not got a lot of business like Rob does, you have to catch up over time, okay? You got to spend the money. You got to take the time. You got to spend the years it took for Rob to get on the front cover or in that front section or where the people will see him to fine-tune his ads. The thing about it is that you don't have that kind of time. So buying business may not necessarily be a good venture for you. And then, of course, there's going out and earning it, okay? Earning the business, if you can generate leads on your own, okay? If you can generate the fish, if you can go out and prospect, however you want to do it. Look, if you don't want to telephone prospect, that's fine, okay? I think it's a bad idea, but if you don't want to do that, that's okay. Go ahead and at least go out and meet people, okay? Door knock, expires for sale by owners. Talk to the notice of defaults, see if you can help them sell. Go out and talk to the investors, because they're buying a lot of cash property these days, get involved in those sorts of groups, mingling with people to go ahead and actually earn the business. When you earn the business, that's when you have the maximum amount of skill that you're using with the least possible amount of cost, and you're not waiting for something to happen. You're out there actively involved in the marketplace. I can't tell you how important this step is. Okay? Number 17. You have to keep track, okay? Keep track of your billable hours, all right? Number 17, keep track of your billable hours. See, the fact is that if you were going to go to an attorney, okay, he would go ahead or she would go ahead and keep track of how many hours they spent on your case. And the reason why they do that is so they can bill you accurately, okay? Have you ever wondered why it is, okay, that people like doctors and lawyers and things like that, you know, they track their time. A doctor, when you go to get your physical, can only see you for about 15 minutes, okay? When you go see an attorney, they'll give you a half-hour consultation for free, okay? The reason why is they limit their time, okay? If you keep track of the billable hours for the next 30 days, if you keep track of what it is you've done over the last 30 days, be prepared, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right from the beginning, and I did this, it's a scary thing. You will find out just how much time you actually waste, okay? It's amazing. The amount of time you waste, and I'm not even talking for work. I'm talking about that you could be using for your life, that you could spend with your kids, that you could spend with your dog, that you could spend doing the things you like to do, or if you wanted to, you could spend time working. But take time to go ahead and make a note on your calendar, okay, what you did in the previous, say, 15 minutes to half an hour. And then at the end of the week, gather it into 4 categories. Number 1, okay, billable hours. Billable hours are things that you actually did that created income or had the potential to create income. Things like that would be open houses, prospecting, lead follow-up, presentations, okay? Things of that nature, all right? The next would be non-billable hours. And the non-billable hours would be admin, looking up info, like CMAs, okay? Third, off time. And that's just time when you're out screwing around, okay? Doing whatever, all right? And there's really nothing wrong with it. But if you mark down how much time you really use, I think you'll find that you'll spend a good, 40 to maybe 60% of your time is spent here, off, not really doing much of anything. Non-billable hours, you'll find maybe 20 to 25%. Okay? And then if you're lucky, okay, maybe 15% of your time is spent doing the things that you actually know will bring you money. Okay? So keep track of your billable hours for the next 30 days and see what happens. I think you'll be surprised. Okay? Number 18. And this is such a hard one. All right? It's very hard. And I'll tell you, I struggle with this myself. Number 18. Okay? Keep your emotions between the lines. Okay? This is probably my favorite quote from Mike Ferry. Keep your emotions between the lines. Oh, too many E's there. I'm such a stickler for that. Between the lines. And keep the lines really thin, okay? If you want to imagine it this way, here is when things are great. That's the level. Oh, things are wonderful. I'm having a closing. Oh, things are great. And then, oh my God, the deal fell through. Okay? Most realtors most realtors find themselves, and this is your emotions, here, hey, we got a deal coming through, we got an offer coming in. Oh no, we have one that fell through. Oh man, I gotta go ahead and do something. Maybe we have a price reduction. Oh no, the deal fell through again, or something like that, okay? And that is so tiring, all right? Your emotions, that's why you're so, so short of energy, okay? Is because these lines between high and low, are so wide. They're like the Grand Canyon. And what Mike suggests to us, okay, is that you go ahead and you keep these lines very thin, okay? Don't get overly emotional about anything, okay? Stay in a positive mode. Stay in a positive mood, okay? Be positive. When things go bad, be positive. At least, you know what? You don't have a deal that you can't lose something you never had. That's my favorite one, all right? When you say that you lost a listing or lost a deal or something like that, hey, that deal never closed to begin with, okay? So you can't lose something you never had. You can't say, well, I lost $5,000 on this transaction because you never closed it to begin with. If you go into it with the mindset knowing that this deal, may or may not close, then it's not going to be a big surprise if it doesn't, okay? But if it does close, don't get so happy that you tend to forget your job, okay? There is a problem in real estate today where when you're on the business for 6 months or so and you do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 deals, now all of a sudden you're an expert, okay? Trust me, all the people I know who are top producers, okay? The Kurt Stinsons of the world, the Rob Lambs of the world, the Marcy Willems of the world, the Dan Beals, the Mike Bishops. I mean, all the people who do and Sandy Heath is a great example. The people who do a lot of business, okay, are never too big to understand that they have other things to learn, okay? That there's a lot of stuff out there that they don't know, and they're consistently learning, okay? But the problem that we have with a lot of realtors is that once they reach this thing where they close a deal, then all of a sudden they're experts. And now they don't need to be told anything anymore. Keep your emotions between the lines and keep those lines thin, and you'll be sure to go ahead and be productive, all right? Number 19. And the things that you can train your knowledge into power, all right? When working with your buyers, your sellers, and other agents, okay? And really with anybody for that matter. When working with agents, buyers, and sellers, okay? Answer all objections with logic rather than emotion, okay? Answer objections with logic, okay? The thing about it is that this is such an overly emotional business. And I say overly emotional because it needs not be, all right? And I'm guilty just as the next guy, all right? But this is something that I try to work on as well, all right? Look, if in your real estate career, if you screw up, okay, the worst thing that's going to happen, somebody might lose a home, somebody might lose some earnest money, something like that, okay? And so I go home and I tell my wife, I say, this is such a rotten day, such and such happened, and such happened, and this and that. And she listens, because she's very patient with me. And then she says, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, okay? Because, she is a pediatric intensive care unit nurse at the Tucson Medical. And she says, yeah, I understand where you're coming from. We had somebody screw up and a baby died. So it kind of puts things into perspective for me, all right? Understand that our natural tendency is to handle this objection with somebody with emotion. Well, if you counter this offer, then this might be the best offer we'll ever get, and you'll lose the deal. Or, I can't believe it. Yeah, but why would you want to do that? Because if you offer less, then they'll take, they'll just counter you. Look, offer answers with logic. Mr. Seller, I understand completely where you're coming from, and that makes valid sense. Let me ask you, in the last 7 months that your home's been on the market, how many offers have we received? 0. Okay. So would it be fair to say that in the last 7 months, you have paid for this home $1,800 per month? You've paid roughly, what? I don't know, $14,000, $13,000, $12,000 for this home. And now someone comes to you and wants to purchase this home $5,000 under your asking price. So let me ask you this. Is it fair to say that if this home stays on the market for another 3 or 4 months, you could very well end up losing that money anyway? See, that's a very valid argument, okay? It's logical. It makes sense. When you start pointing out the facts of things, people respond to logic, and when you inject emotion into it, okay, then that's when you tend to lose control, okay? You have to maintain this logic business, okay? If it's not logical, all right, people will act irrationally, and then you'll lose control. You have to maintain control, okay? And last but not least, okay, of the 20 things that you can do to build your knowledge into power, all right, is develop a strong past client system. Develop a strong past client system. Okay? Now the thing about it is that the Mike Ferry organization has been accused many, many times of chainsaw real estate. Just turn them and burn them, cold call all the time. You know what? That is absolutely untrue, okay? Yes, calling, for sale by owners and expireds and things of that nature is certainly an aspect of the system, okay? But a more important part of the system, and you'll notice this from all of the early recordings that Mike ever made and all of the seminars that Mike gave, was that the strength of developing a past client system, okay, has been paramount for the past 35 years, all right? Mike developed a system that you could follow to go ahead and contact your past clients first, okay? Past clients, center of influence, have always been the #1 people you want to contact first. If you worked for me and you worked on my team, okay, that would be the first #1 place that you would start working. We would develop on your past clients and center of influence list, and then we would start working that, okay, to go ahead and build that strength for you, all right? Now, how you do that? Well, you can develop that past client center of influence system by some of the other videos you may have seen in here. The video Ghetto Lead Follow-Up System can also be used for your past clients and center of influence. I would strongly recommend you take a look at that video, because that'll give you a very down and dirty, cheap way to go ahead and handle your past clients. So anyway, I hope this has been of value to you. If you have any questions, then feel free to go ahead and email or call me. You've got my number. Feel free to go ahead and like, rate, and subscribe down at the bottom. We appreciate your time, and you have a wonderful, powerful selling day. Bye-bye.